In today's video, why walking is better than running for fat loss.
All by myself.
Hey guys, what's going on? This is Paul Ravella from ProPhysique.com. In today's video, I'm going to address the topic of fat loss and should we be using running or perhaps walking or perhaps something else to get body fat off. What is the best method of body fat? And I've been asked a few times about this topic and I came across a couple different ideas and thoughts and studies and research. And I have my own opinions that I've formed over years of being a runner, a bodybuilder, an athlete. And so I thought I'd share all that with you guys today. And we'll talk about how to make the best decision for you. So let's talk about what I mean by running. Running, as in if you're going to run a mile, you're going to run a 10K or a marathon. Is this the best method for fat loss? There is so much research on endurance athletes and running, and especially one study that I found that talked about the adaptations and the changes that occur. When they reviewed more than 55,000 runners' histories, they found some pretty interesting data. Now, part of this data is very positive. You have 45% less risk of heart disease. That's amazing, especially at a time in the population and in the world where obesity is becoming an epidemic. It shows that running does have some benefits. But what I found more interesting were the studies that showed that the problems with running outweighed some of the benefits and that perhaps there's a better way to handle it. Now, in that study of over 55,000 people, they found that people that ran more than 20 miles a week were the ones that ran into an issue. And 20 miles might sound like a lot of distance in a week, but it's actually not that much time. And as we try to lose body fat, what happens is our bodies adapt to the process of running. We become more efficient. So we're gonna have to either increase the intensity or increase the duration. I found another study that talked about 79% of long distance runners experience an injury to their lower extremities. So what happens when you get injured? Well, you set yourself up to not be able to exercise, to not be able to move. A lot of what we go into as athletes is using exercise as a way to say, you know what? Because I'm exercising, I'm gonna maintain a lower body weight. I can eat a little bit more. I found an interesting study of normal weight individuals that were asked to go for a run and burn several hundred calories. They actually tracked how many calories they were burned by using machines. Then they were set up and said, we would like you to estimate how many calories you burned by eating. And the participants ate 3 to 4 times the amount of calories that they burned during the run. So I think the logical fallacy here is that some people love to run, but they think they're burning far more calories than they are. And therefore, they actually don't lose weight and don't lose body fat. Yes, you are going to get some benefits from running outside of weight loss. That's not my point here. There are going to be cardiovascular adaptations that benefit us in the long run. But when it comes to losing body fat, I feel like walking is much superior. Now, because this is 2019, about to be 2020, and we have to talk about technology and its advances in helping us. We're all very familiar with what wearable digital calorie trackers that tell us how many calories we burn. But I found a study that the University of Stanford did where they actually brought people into the lab and they tracked how many calories they burned. And it showed that while the trackers were very, very good at tracking heart rate, the best tracker was 27% off in estimating calories burned. And the worst one was 93% wrong. So as you can see, if you're using digital technology to tell you, hey, I should go ahead and eat some more, well, you might be wrong. Running might be the worst thing you can do if you are using it as a means to track it and count it for weight loss. So, having said all this, why do I think that running might not be the best thing? Well, there's tons of research and tons that go into what is actually most beneficial for our long-term health. It's having more lean body mass and a better metabolic rate. How do we accomplish this? Well, doing resistance training mixed with some exercise cardiovascular wise. Apparently, if you run less than 20 miles a week, well, that's going to be good for you. And let me say this, if running gets you excited and it's what you love to do, and it's not just about losing a little bit of weight or getting the most bang for your buck, then lace them up. What I do with the bodybuilding and wanting to look good with my shirt off so I can get on stage, that's my thing that I'm passionate about. And I get that not everybody understands that. Just like not everybody has to understand why some people love CrossFit, some people love Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, some people have passions like racing cars that just aren't an interesting thing for me or for you possibly. But if you love running, don't let this be a detriment to your enjoyment of strapping them up, getting out, and hitting the pavement for a few miles. What I'm talking about here is, what is the best way to lose body fat? The reason I really love walking is because I've done it. I've tried all these methodologies. I've tried using HIIT cardio as my primary tool for fat loss. I've tried using low intensity steady state and moderate intensity steady state. And what I found for me was that walking at a nice pace, perhaps on a slight incline, was the best way. I was able to burn calories. It's not that adaptive, and it didn't leave me destroyed. Sometimes the high intensity cardio that we do can really set us up for like sitting around all day and burning less calories outside of that cardio. So you end up just trading your high intensity sessions for maybe getting up and going outside and playing with your friends or your kids or whatever it is that you do during the day. You start just laying around more. That was my experience. Now, ultimately, what is going to lead us to fat loss? That is accountability with our nutrition. I think some people are looking for a hack where they can do a few things, lose weight without having to track their diet. But let's be honest, these trackers are inaccurate. We overestimate the amount of calories that we need. Unless you are accountable for your daily intake of calories, you're very unlikely to be successful. Does that mean you need to track everything you eat for the rest of your life? Absolutely not. But educating yourself on meal portion sizes, what things should look like. Sometimes you don't realize just how calorie dense things are because they say things like healthy or low fat or high protein. But until you actually plug them in and write them down and be accountable to yourself and look at your calories, then you can understand, okay, maybe this is where I need to make some adjustments. This is why I'm not losing body fat. It's not that I need to run longer or run more. It's that I actually need to pay attention to what's going in my mouth, what's passing my lips, how many calories are going into my body. Do I believe that walking and sprinting are superior to moderate intensity, steady state, or jogging for fat loss and long-term health as far as having more lean body mass? Absolutely. I know a lot of long distance runners and they just don't feel good generally. Does that mean you shouldn't do it if you love it? Absolutely not. Does that mean that there aren't people out there that have great success and love it as their passion and perhaps their bodies do better with it? Absolutely. We are all individuals and our bodies are specific to ourselves. No one person is going to be able to tell you how you absolutely should do all things. What I'm saying here is that perhaps the better approach to weight loss is less about just getting out, hitting the pavement and beating yourself up running marathons or running 10Ks, and more about paying attention to what goes in our mouth, using our overall activity, low intensity, steady state, perhaps some high intensity exercise and resistance training to create the best possible outcome for us. All right, guys, that's gonna be it for me today. I'm pretty excited. I just found out that my client, Deraja Hill, got accepted to the Arnold Classic Pro Bikini International. Only 17 girls were accepted and she was one of them. Congrats to Deraja. We gotta go make some plans. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.